Hi, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Jane, and I am like 9 months post bone marrow transplant for a rare disease called CTLA4 haploinsufficiency. Um, this world, this life is crazy. And one thing that I don't think gets like talked about enough is how hard mentally it is to live with something like this and to be going through like the treatment and stuff that I am going through. Um, it's hard. It is really hard because I went through so much of my life with doctors telling me that, like, not that it was in my head, but like they didn't have clear answers for things. I've had so many surgeries and like procedures and stuff done where like we had pieces of the information, but when you don't even know what you're looking at for the puzzle, like that it doesn't really help. And then, once we had Catalina and she was so sick that it kind of broke open this whole case for us. And I actually had like a treatment plan and there were options and whatever. There was almost like a light at the end of the tunnel until my health started to like really decline. And then it was crazy. It was like surviving every day just to be able to wake up the next morning and drag myself through it again with not having like all the answers or like really understanding, I think, maybe the extent of the disease, which, it took my mom's life when she was 50, and our great grandmother probably died from this disease as well, and she was 31. So when my health really started to fail at 30, it was pretty scary because I was like, I want to be around to see my kids grow up, and I would like to just, live my life and be around. And that was really being taken away from me. It was slipping away. And before transplant, it was like a really, really dark time. I couldn't work. I was pretty much like bedbound and couch-bound. It was awful. And then I had the transplant, which was one of the worst things I've ever experienced in my life. But then around day like 70, I want to say, after transplant, I had so much energy. I felt great. I felt really good. I was 30 pounds lighter than I was before transplant, and that was after I had gained back some of the weight that I had lost from like being so sick with all the chemo and everything else. And it was just like surreal. I was paddleboarding. I was posting videos and stuff all the time going paddleboarding. I could paddleboard for like over 2 miles sometimes. Like, it was crazy. And like the women that I go paddleboarding with are amazing and were so incredibly supportive, and they were like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe that you were able to do that. And like at the same time I was hiking, I was going on walks all the time, I was able to go golfing and stuff multiple times over like the spring and summer. And I just realized I didn't have my microphone on, so audio is not going to be the best, but whatever. And then it all kind of went away, which sucks a lot. I painted my hallway, and like I was having issues before I painted the hallway, and like the reason I even say that is because like that day I overexerted myself. I used too much energy, or like too many spoons, and I knew I was going to be in not a great place. So I tried to preemptively stop that, and my body just kind of spiraled. My glasses are killing me with this light. So I had started to have some decline in like, not muscle function, but doing things was harder, and it felt like I was weaker, even though like I had pretty good energy levels and stuff. Like my muscles just felt weaker, and that got progressively worse. And then like the day that I painted this hallway, it just killed me. I tried to drink like, they're called elements, and they've got sodium and potassium and electrolytes you need, because almost every time that I've overexerted myself, whether emotionally, physically, or whatever, I ended up like needing fluids and being like incredibly dehydrated, because it just caused me to have like awful GI symptoms, and I would have a lot of fluid loss because of that. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to preemptively drink this stuff and it's going to be great. And I blew up overnight. Like, I mean, like pounds of fluid overnight. I couldn't fit in my clothes. I couldn't bend over. I had a hard time walking. I couldn't breathe. Everything was just like all of a sudden, oh my gosh, this is not good. And then when I saw my team, they were concerned about, anasarca, because an anasarca is like generalized edema, like severe edema head to toe, which I have. And we ruled out, heart failure, which was a big concern, kidney failure, fluid around my lungs, and some other issues that they said would have been really, really hard to treat had it been that. So I'm beyond grateful that it's not that. But now that they're saying that it's like chronic graft versus host disease, and that I'm dealing with like endothelial leakage, which is essentially where like the lining of my blood vessels and whatnot are damaged for some reason and are just leaking fluid into the extra spaces in my body where it shouldn't be. And because of that, it causes me to just swell. And I'm on Lasix to help me pee that out. And it's crazy. I fluctuate like pounds in a few hours. On Sunday, when I didn't take them in the morning because we were busy and I had to take them in the afternoon, I was so swollen. I ended up losing 5 pounds of fluid in like 3 hours. And today I've lost about 2 pounds of fluids since this morning when I took my pill. And like, it's not enough. As soon as the Lasix wear off, it happened. Like, I just bloat again because of the underlying like mechanism of disease, which like the Lasix just helps excrete and get rid of the fluid. But my body's continuously producing it as I leak into the space in my body, I guess. I don't know. I have a very hard time wrapping my brain around all of this because I'm not reading it about somebody else. Like, this is happening to me. And that's really hard to comprehend, I guess, because it's a lot. And, there's a lot of people that say, well, if you just think happier thoughts, and nobody said this to me directly, especially recently with what I'm going through, but like, you see it with a lot of chronic illness, and that chronic GVHD is a chronic illness. It's severe. It can kill you. And like, thinking happy thoughts does not make it go away. Being positive can help, and it can help with like your energy levels and stuff, but it doesn't make the disease better. It doesn't make things go away. It doesn't change what you're facing. And so I disassociate a lot. I have to, because I don't think I can process everything that's happened just this year alone. You know what I mean? Like, going from not being well at all to having the transplant, so many complications, almost dying, that being its own huge traumatic event. I don't even remember huge portions of it because it's wild. Anyway, then like being so poorly, and then coming out of that and feeling so good for the first time in so many years, being able to do things I haven't been able to do, just to have it like kind of taken away and like the rug taken out from under me. It's hard. It is hard to deal with. And like, I can't take antidepressants. I caved and asked for them, and they told me no. I have a therapist, and like, that helps, but you can talk about this all day, every day, and I do a lot. We have the podcast, I post on here, I talk to my therapist, my husband hears about it all the time. It doesn't take away from anything that you're actually going through. It doesn't take the pain away. It doesn't take the limited range of motion away. It doesn't take any of that away. So like, just be conscious of that when you're talking to your like chronically ill friends, because everybody's got one. That like, thinking happier thoughts or being more positive is not going to take away the severity of what they're dealing with, the clinical and physical manifestations, and like the mental burden. It's hard to know that you're afflicted by something. It's just my cross to bear, right? And I'm not a burden on my family, but I feel like I am because of the burden that weighs on me. And that's hard to accept as well. So like, just be conscious when you're talking to your chronically ill friends.